Serving, as we call him, Anthony, or our target audience, wasn't born just out of necessity. It was born out of going, we've got a lot of broken men who don't feel like they can lead their family. How do we get him to be the champion again? Anthony for us is, a 36-year-old male. He was brought up in church, right? But was put off by church, right? And not because there were bad people, right? Just didn't connect with going, well, are you talking about what I'm going through? And we made it very clear, Anthony doesn't want to go to church. Every church he knows has a bad reputation, and so we didn't want to build anything that looked like a church. So if you want to build something that people haven't seen, you have to create something that doesn't look like the average bear. And so, again, Anthony didn't want to go back to church, so I couldn't build him a building that looked like the church he remembered. So how do we stick out and not just become another cross on the side of the building?
One of the things that ArchSpeak did to help us get into not just branding and kind of thinking like all thought stuff, but get into practical stuff for our building is how do we speak to Anthony? And then if you take Anthony's profile of thinking of like, what does he have? Like what's big in his life? Well, his kids are big in his life. So 60% of our building is designed for kids.
We're designing specific to one human being. And I think that's where the brilliance of ArchSpeak and what the Hills was doing came together, right? Is identifying and then laser focused. And then we were able to go, okay, like this doesn't fit, this doesn't fit, this doesn't fit. And it wasn't patchwork because we knew exactly who we were building it for and what we wanted his story to look like.
Having the ability of somebody else to take all the things that we're passionate about, carve out some time so we can get out of the fog of ministry, which is just every day the grind, and then take all of our stuff that we were passionate about and bring it into something that just was clarity. One of the ways that taking our branding guideline really came extremely practical was when the branding guideline came back and we finally got a color palette. And admittedly, I'm not a design guy. I know what I like when I see it. I don't know how to get there. So we had been working with a playground company that was building this very large, 25-foot tall playground. And they had been asking us for, hey, what color do you want the plastic of the playground? Because you can pick any color. If you tell me I can pick any color, I'm gonna go numb because there's millions of colors. And it just so happened that they were waiting for that answer. Branding guideline came back and we're like, we just need to use these. So we literally just sent the ArchSpeak color palette and sent it to them. They plugged them in and we get a playground that's themed to our colors.
Even our building is vinyl lined with all those different little assets that we didn't have to create it. It was created by ArchSpeak and we just implemented it the way we needed to.
Once we had the brand, once we had the idea, we had clarity, and we were able to start making some fun, easy decisions. Once we knew we wanted big, open industrial, which was just clearly identified, it just made building the building fun.
So one of my favorite things at night is our lights at the walkway go off, but that logo sign stays on. And it's 40 feet long and we're way off the road. But from the road, what you see is this Hills logo up there. And it just, again, it begs the question, why? So we have a lot of people who come in and just like, hey, what is this place? And honestly, I think it's because that logo, it begs the question. And it's not the typical church logo. And so it practically fits in a lot of different aspects of the building.
Finding out, once we got in the building, what a sharpened tool this was going to be. You can't buy advertisement like we have it. You can't buy people just walking in at a moment's notice and just going, what do we get here? And we're like, well, you get everything. Well, what's it cost? Well, it's free. The first week we opened up, I could not tell you that we would have birthday parties. But in the first 7 weeks, we did 40 birthday parties. And many of them, almost all of them, were people that didn't even come to our church. And so that started to draw in the community really quick.
A lady called in about a birthday party, and I just happened to answer. I was at a baseball game, just happened to see it come in, answered it. And I was like, hey, Hills Church. She said, hey, my name's Rachel. I'm a single mom. My son has some special needs, and I can't afford to go to the places that really cater to what he needs in order to get his friends in. And so I just want to know off the top, like, how much does it cost to do a birthday there? I'm like, actually, it's a great question. It's free. And she's like, no. Like, I mean, but if I bring 10 kids, like, how much is it per kid? I'm like, it's just free. And she just paused. She's like, why? It's like, well, that's a great question, Rachel. I was like, because I want you to know you're not alone and this place is for you. And she just paused and she's like, that sounds really nice. It's like, great. Like, we want to connect you with this because Jesus is good and he wants good for you. And we want to model that. And if it was simple with a birthday, like, good to her looked like a free birthday space. And that's what we want to be, is that place.
And so I could tell you, we average about 75 visitors a week, okay? That's on a Sunday. Through the week, during the summer, we had upwards of 700 to 800 a week during Monday through Friday hours, unique visitors. And now we're about 75 to 100 during the day. But, I know that back in April, before we opened this building, we had 600 people in person. This past Sunday, we had just 9 shy of 1,400.
Just the energy of walking into this building on a regular basis and seeing families I don't recognize. They're not necessarily a part of our Sunday morning experience. They're not the people that are coming up and that are just our core people. These are people that are coming in that just need a place for their kids to come hang out. They just want a place to connect, just a place to be in community with. And so one of the really unique things that I've seen about our building in particular has been the sense of community, the really authentic community that's developed, and just an energy about that it's just people doing life together and doing it with Jesus at the center.
And the building is disarming. It doesn't look like you imagine a church to look. And so you walk in and you can see a football game playing. You can see, we've had UFC fights playing. And so I'm speaking to Anthony and I'm making him the hero. Nowhere else in town can he go and his kids play on a 20-foot screen, a Fortnite or different things like that. And discipleship happens when they get in relationship with Jesus, right? What was not happening before is they weren't even stepping foot in the place. I didn't even have the opportunity, right? Now I've got an opportunity, right? Anytime I want to go out of my office and engage the community, I don't have to go very far. I come down a set of stairs and the community is already here. And it just happens naturally.